So God comes to Abram, and he gives him this invitation slash challenge. See, the invitation and challenge was to leave, and not just to leave a place, but literally it meant to leave everything you know, everything you understand, everything you're comfortable with. Literally step out into the unknown. Now, God, along with it, makes some amazing promises. I will lead you to the place I have for you. And these other promises, I'll protect you, I will bless you, your descendants will be like the sand of the seashore, and through you, all the nations of the earth would be blessed. Now here's where this gets interesting though. Some Jewish rabbis would suggest that that invitation was available to others, but Abram was the one who responded. Now whether that's accurate or not, I don't know, and it's not really worth our debate, except one key thing. What made Abram eventually to become Abraham? What made him different? Why did God choose Abram? Why him? What was different? And what was different was Abram's willingness to respond. And responding meant letting go of what he knew and again understood. And while it sounds easy in concept, it's difficult in reality to step out into the unknown. See, probably the most profound thing that made Abram different, made him qualified for God's invitation, was his willingness to respond. Now, how does that relate? Well, one of the big debates is often this idea between free will. In other words, God, in his love, had to give us free will to choose him. Now, on the other side of the debate, there's those who would say it's predestination, that you can see in the Bible that God planned it all out. It's predestined to happen. And the debate can get pretty heated on each side. But are we maybe just not recognizing the depths of God's wisdom? When God appears to Job after all of his travails, one of the first things God says is, "Who questions my wisdom in ignorance?" Now that sounds harsh until you really put it in perspective that God's wisdom is truly infinite. And our ability to understand, to comprehend, is minute. Isn't the same way with that debate? That God's wisdom is infinite. I like the way my really good friend Colin puts it. If you ask Colin, do you believe in free will? He would say, yes, absolutely. But then if you immediately also ask, do you believe in predestination? Yes, absolutely. See, the reality is they are both right. Because God, who exists outside of time and space, he gives us free will. But along with that, he gives us the invitation, and he knows the beginning from the end. He knows who will respond. So where am I going with this? Well, what you see is so often it wasn't just Abram, soon again to be Abraham, but you see this repeated over and over and over. Those who were willing to respond. And how does that come to us? Well, Jesus said it this way: many are called, but few are chosen. And it begs the question, is the opportunity to be chosen, is that our invitation? Do we choose to be chosen? That what separates those who go further, deeper, etc., are they the ones who just literally choose to say, God, I am one of your chosen. I respond. I claim it. I want it all. And that may sound like, why doesn't everyone? But the reality is this. What we do see is, and it's just a human trait. So many are willing to just go so far. That, just like it says in Proverbs, it says that the people knew God's miracles. They saw what he did. They had a relationship with him. But Moses knew God's ways. See, he wasn't willing to settle for just the benefits. And we see that as a pattern that developed increasingly through Moses' life. He wasn't willing to accept just the benefits. He wanted it all. That had to, by his demand, include God's very presence. In fact, there came a point where God is a little frustrated, and he's still willing to give them the land of promise. And Moses says, I don't want it. If you don't go with us, I don't want it. As much as that's something we have held on to for so long, without you, it's meaningless. But the reality is, again, it's still part of our human nature that so many, they accept God's benefits and his blessings, and they're comfortable there. But what if what separates those between just the called and those that are chosen is our volitional choice to be one of the chosen? So my challenge to you is this. Make that decision. Tell God, I'm choosing to be chosen. I'm choosing to go deeper. I'm choosing to go further. I'm choosing to get more, want more, etc. And in doing so, though, we have to, like Abraham, kind of come a full circle. Like Abraham, you have to be willing to leave that requirement to understand that so often holds so many back, and be willing to step out into the unknown in a total faith. I don't know how this is going to work, God, but I want to be one of your chosen. I don't know what the path looks like, but I want to be one of your chosen. I know I'm not worthy, but I still want to be one of your chosen. Take every objection, everything that would hold you back, and just set it to the side and say, acknowledge it, say, yeah, I am unworthy, God. We all are. But your love and your mercy covers everything. I want to be one of your chosen. That's my challenge to each one, is that we would raise up a generation who aren't willing to settle for a superficial relationship with the living God. That those who would enjoy his benefits, but those who say, like Moses, I want more. I want all that you have to offer. It includes a deeper relationship with you, greater authority, greater purpose, greater meaning, everything that goes with that. I'm choosing to be one of your chosen and go on this journey into the unknown, knowing that you lead me and your promises go before me.